morning, students. So in the previous class, we were discussing the unit or the lesson, our constitution. So we already discussed about the Constituent Assembly, the preamble of Indian Constitution, and we also discussed some of the silent features of Indian Constitution. So now first I will ask some questions about the previous class. Those who know the answer, just raise your hands. So first question is, when was the first meeting of Constituent Assembly was held? 9th December 1946. Very good, right answer. So who was the chairman of drafting committee of the Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of drafting committee of Constitution. So when was Indian Constitution approved? When was Indian Constitution approved?
November 26, 1949.
Yes.
November 26, 1949.
Very good. 26 November 1949. That day the Indian Constitution has been approved. Sit down. Very good. So who was called as the chief architect of Indian Constitution?
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was called as the chief architect of Indian Constitution. So according to Professor John Roberts, what is democracy? Anyone?
96 January 19.
No. Just listen the question first. According to Professor John Roberts, what is democracy?
Democracy is the government where everyone has a share.
According to John Roberts, democracy is a government where everyone has a share. Very good. Sit down. So how many parts and schedules and articles were there in original Constitution? Original Constitution means when the Constitution came to force. So how many parts, how many schedules and how many articles were there?
25 parts, 12 schedules,
No. It's after the amendments.
8
Anybody?
22 parts, 8 schedules, and 395 articles.
Very good. So, when the Constitution came into force, there were 22 parts, 8 schedules, and 395 articles were there. So, after the amendments, how many parts, schedules, and articles were there? The boys from
25 parts, 12 schedules, and approximately 470 articles.
Very good. So now 25 parts of the 12 schedules and 470, approximately 470 articles are there in Indian Constitution. So let's see about the silent features of Indian Constitution. Silent features of Constitution. So we already discussed about the four silent features of Indian Constitution, that is written and lengthy Constitution, flexible and constitution, parliamentary form of government, and republican system. So let's see about the fifth silent feature of the constitution is federal system. Federal system. So what is federal system? That our constitution provides for a federal system of government because our country consists of different languages, castes, races and geographical regions. So how many states are there in India? How many states are there in India? Yes. 20? 28. Very good. There are 28 states are there in India. And how many union territories are there? 8 union territories are there in India. Very good. Sit down. So every state has its own language, has its own tradition, has its own race, has its own geographical regions. So that's why our constitution has provides the federal system of government to this country. So what is the language of our state? Kannada. What is the language of Tamil Nadu? Tamil. What is the language of Andhra Pradesh? Telugu. So like that, every state has its own language. So in that some states are called as coastal states. So the geographical region also is different from states to states. So that's why the constitution has provides as the federal system of constitution. So in federal system, so just we have to discuss about your family. In the family, the responsibilities have been divided or shared by the members of the family, isn't it? Your father has his own duties and responsibilities. Your mother also having her own duties and responsibilities, and you also having your own responsibilities, and brothers and sisters. So like that, in federal government, federal system of government, the responsibilities or the powers have been shared between the state government and the central government. The powers of the country have been shared, have been divided between the central government and the state government. So the subjects belong to the country has been divided into 3 parts. One is central list, another one is state list, and the third one is concurrent list. The central list is having 100 subjects, and the state list having 61 subjects, and the concurrent list having 52 subjects. So the subjects of the country, subject means any decision can be taken by any subject. state list, central list, state list, and concurrent list. So there are 100 subjects are there in central list. Central list means in these 100 subjects, if there is any action or any rules or there is any decision are going to taken only by the central government. So here, so 100 subjects which are in the central list, if there is any decision or going to taken means the central government only have the power to take the decision on these 100 subjects. And the 61 subjects are there in state list. State list means it belongs to state government. So in this 61 subjects, state governments have all the power to take the decisions. So in this 61 subjects, central government should not interfere. All the power of taking decisions on 61 subjects is the state government. And 52 subjects are there in concurrent list. Concurrent list. So in this 52 subjects, both central and state governments have equal powers to make a law or take any decisions. So they will discuss, both state and state government will discuss to take any decisions regarding these 52 subjects. For example, there will be you are all using a natural gas in your houses for cooking or something. So the rising and down the price of the natural gas or the petrol, diesel. So those comes under the central list. So all the power of rising the petrol or diesel rates have the central government having all the powers to rise the price or to down the price of petrol, diesel and natural gases. And according to army, Indian army, we should be proud about our army. So Indian army comes under the central list. So state government should not interfere in the subjects which are in the central list. So in Indian army, all the decisions are taken by the Indian government only, not by the state government. Okay. So like this, the subjects which are under their list, governments have the power to make the law or take any decisions about their subjects. So here, if there is any disputes or any problems between central government and the state government. For example, there is a problem between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu regarding the Kaveri issue. So like that, if there is any disputes between central government and the state government, the Supreme Court will solve the issue. The Supreme Court will solve the issue between the state government and the central government. So if there is any confusion about the central list and the state list, the Supreme Court will discuss the matter and it will give the order. It will solve the disputes of central government, state governments. Maybe education is there. Education is a subject. So it belongs to the concurrent list. So now every day you are taking midday meals. All the primary and high school students are getting midday meals every day. So it is the both central governments and the state governments have given the contribution. Both the governments have given a contribution to this scheme. So like that, the concurrent subjects will get the equal responsibility of state government and the central government. So the next silent feature of the constitution is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Is there any confusion in the federal system? Any doubts? No doubts. So next, fundamental rights. What is fundamental rights? Is anybody? What is fundamental rights? Those are your textbooks. The rights which were given by the constitution are called fundamental rights. The rights given by the constitution to the people of this country are called fundamental rights. Fundamental rights means rights given by the constitution to the people of this country. So what is fundamental rights? Rights given by the constitution to the people of this country are called fundamental rights. So which are the fundamental rights then? Which are called fundamental rights? Yes.
Right to liberty, right to freedom, right to equality, right against exploitation, right to education and culture, right to constitutional remedy.
Very good. So, very good. Sit down. So there are 6 fundamental rights. How many fundamental rights are there? 6 fundamental rights. So the constitution, the Indian constitution has given 6 fundamental rights. So the first one is right to liberty. So the second one is right to equality. Right to equality. Right against exploitation. Against exploitation. And the fourth one is right to education. So right to religion. Right to religion. Fifth one is
Right to education and culture.
education and culture. The last one is
Right to constitutional remedies.
constitutional remedies. these are the six fundamental rights that Constitution has given to us. First one is right to liberty, right to equality, right to against exploitation, right to religion, it's right to education and culture, right to constitutional remedies. So these are the six fundamental rights have been given by Constitution. So here the fundamental rights, is it possible to, is it have any power to the state government or the state central government or any organization to deny these rights? Is there any power? Tell me yes or no? No. No law of any government, whether it may be state government, whether it may be central government or any organization, should not have the power to deny these six fundamental rights from any person of this country. Nobody can deny it because Constitution has given these rights to us. Even central government has no power, state governments also have no power, and any organization of this country have no power to deny these six fundamental rights. So that's why if there is any government or any person or any organization can or taken away the or damage the citizen, can directly appeal to the High Court and the Supreme Court. So, if any government, whether it may be state government or the central government, are taken away our rights or fundamental rights, or damaged our fundamental rights, we can directly go appeal to the High Court or the Supreme Court. If there is any damage to our, or if there is any person of the government are taken away our fundamental rights, we can appeal to the High Court and Supreme Court directly. So these rights, these six fundamental rights have been listed in the third part of our Constitution. So where is these fundamental rights are incorporated in our Constitution? In the third part of our Constitution. So there are how many parts are there? Now there are 25 parts are there. So in the third part of our Constitution, these fundamental rights have been listed. The Supreme Court is called as the protector of fundamental rights. Protector of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Which is called the protector of the fundamental rights? Supreme Court. So, if there is any damage to protector of the fundamental rights. So here, if there is any government taken away our fundamental rights, we can directly appeal to the High Court or the Supreme Court. So that's why the Supreme Court has called as the protector of fundamental rights. So in the examination they will ask about which is called as the protector of the fundamental rights. Which is called Supreme Court. Supreme Court. Why is Supreme Court called as the protector of the fundamental rights? Why? Because if there is any government or any person or any organization taken away our fundamental rights or damaged our fundamental rights, we can directly appeal to the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court have allow us to appeal for the taken of fundamental rights. So that's why the Supreme Court has been called as the protector of fundamental rights. So in the next topic is the fundamental rights. In that we can deeply go into the fundamental rights. So the next silent feature of the Indian Constitution is the single citizenship. So the Indian Constitution makes provision for a single citizenship. Why it gives provision for single citizenship? That's two. In order to curb the narrow-minded regionalism and promote nationalism. So first, we are all Indians. So that Indians itself it is the citizenship. We are not called as Kannadigas or Tamiligas or Keraligas. It is not according to the law. We are all Indians. That is the citizenship. It gives by the Indian Constitution. The citizens of the country has the national citizenship, not the state citizens. So how many states are there in our country? How many states? 28. 28 states are there. So we may belong to any state. Like Karnataka, maybe the Maharashtra, maybe Goa, maybe Tamil Nadu, whichever the state you belong. But there is no provision for state citizenship. There is only provision for national citizenship. Our parliament possesses the power to frame rules in this matter. So, our parliament, the lower house of our parliament, which is the lower house of our parliament, it is Lok Sabha. So it makes the laws on the basis of this citizenship. So recently the central government has brought a law that is called CAA, which allows the Hindus who are the Hindus and other people who belongs to other religions of our neighboring countries. Which are the neighboring countries of India? Anyone? Which are the neighboring countries of India? Pakistan, China, Afghanistan,
Bangladesh,
Nepal, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. So these are all called the neighboring countries of India. So the people who are living in those countries, the neighboring countries, except Muslims, the people who belongs to other religion except Islam, they can have the chance to get the citizenship of India according to the CAA. So like that, whichever the place we are living, whichever the state we are living, we are all Indians. So there is only one citizenship, that is Indian. So the next feature is universal adult franchise. they vote. It symbolizes the sovereignty, absolute power of the people. The universal adult franchise means the constitution has given the power of all the Indians who are above the age of 18 age or above 18 age. They have the power of to they can have the power to vote. So what is the age has been fixed to practice their vote? 18. So it shows the absolute sovereignty power of the people. So those who are 18-year-old, they can exercise their vote when there were elections. So there will be recently in April and May there were elections, general elections for parliament. So the people who crossed the 18-year age, they have exercised their vote in that time. So our vote, the power of voting is how we can change our representatives. We can change the government by exercising our vote. So this power has been given by the constitution to the people of this country. Next, central legislature. So we have adopted the parliamentary type of system of government. So our parliament have two houses. One is lower house and it is called as Lok Sabha. And another one is upper house and it is called as Rajya Sabha. So the party which the members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people of India. So recently, I told you in April, May, there was a parliamentary election. We have elected our representative. We have elected our MPs. MP means member of parliament. So there were 545 Lok Sabha members are there. How many? 545. So in that 543 members were directly elected by the people of India and 2 Anglo-Indians were nominated by the president. And in Rajya Sabha there will be 250 members are there. In that 238 members were elected by the representatives of MPs and of people, that is MP and MLAs. And 12 members of Rajya Sabha were nominated by the president who are made achievement in different fields. So how many members are there in Lok Sabha? 545. How many members are there in Rajya Sabha? 250. So next feature is party system. Political parties are the pillars of the democracy. There is a multi-party system in India. So political parties are the pillars of the democracy. That we cannot imagine the democracy without the political parties. And India has adopted the multiple party system. The party which wins the majority of seats votes in the general election becomes the ruling, whereas the rest will be the opposition parties. So So, after the adoption of constitution, after the constitution came to exist, we have adopted multi-party system. There are so many parties are there in our India, in our political field of India. So here, the party which holds majority of seats. So I told you that Lok Sabha having 545 seats. So the party which owns 275 seats, 273 seats, which form the government. Why it is 273? Because if you, the half of the 545 is 272. So 272, more than 272, the party which owns the more than 272 seats which form the government. The other rest of the parties will remain as the opposition parties. So this is the party system. So today let's stop here. In the next class I will continue the next topic, that is fundamental rights. Take the homework first. Write about the silent features of Indian Constitution. So we have to briefly explain the silent features of Indian Constitution. Okay, thank you.